This week, I want to talk to you about a couple of things, right? And number one is last week I was fortunate enough to present my third TEDx talk. I still don't have any videos from my first, second, or third. Obviously, the third just happened. But let me tell you a little bit about what that process was like. And it's actually been really awesome, an awesome experience. I wanted to do a TEDx talk, I wanted to be a TEDx speaker. And what I found was that I really sucked at tracking down all of the events and things like that. But what I've really been good at is finding the right people to help with all of that, right? And so I've been asked, how did you get, 3 TEDx gigs booked and things like that? Here's the thing, though. Before you book a TEDx, you really should get some speaker training. And there is a number of our organizations, and I've worked with 2 of them. I worked with one of them for from scratch speaker training, but another one just specifically TEDx kind of motivation and things like that. So it's really been an interesting experience, but I can say that I would have never been able to deliver a speech that kept people at the edge of their seats if it wasn't for the training. So training is great, and it's absolutely necessary. It's not mandatory, but it's necessary in order for you to deliver a good speech. And TED style talks are really great for positioning yourself as a thought leader, as a really expert, and so on and so forth. And so I highly recommend it, but only do that if you have an original idea that you're willing to share, in a way that will actually make a difference for people. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of TEDx talks that are really hard to listen to because the speaker is so consumed with their material and with themselves that they really forget that they're there for you as an audience member. And so when I went through a speaker training, if you need details, one of them is an introduction only company, meaning that you cannot get into that if unless somebody introduces you and kind of like vouches for you. Let me know, reach out to me, DM me, or comment below. But the idea is that what they typically say is that when we are on stage, we don't rise to the occasion. We fall back on our training. And if there's nothing to fall back on, then it's a problem. So I've done 3 TEDx's, right? I had somebody apply for me because they know all the rules and all the stages and things like that. And eventually in January of this year, I was accepted into one. And then almost same day, I was accepted into another one. And it was, the application had the same topics, but you cannot deliver 2 topics that are the same to 2 different TEDx stages, because then TEDx channel cannot have 2 talks delivered differently on the same topic on their channel, right? And so I had to come up with a completely different topic for the second one. Thankfully, the first one was about 5 weeks when I was accepted, and the second one I was accepted in January, but it wasn't until June 4th that it happened. So it only happened like last weekend, right? Not this past weekend, but the prior one. And it was a youth stage, which is a specific type of TEDx stage, right? So TEDx has different stages. And these last 2 were youth stages, which means that the topic has to be addressing the youth. And so that's what I did. But the topic I had to change a little bit. And I'm glad I did, because it came out to be a really interesting topic, encouraging high schoolers to get skills, to build cash flow skills, to understand their own value and things like that. Things that we as adults sometimes take for granted, sometimes have to really work hard to get. And so those 2 were actually youth stages. The first one was at a college, and it was a college stage, and it was a very experienced stage. It was in the University of Cincinnati. in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was a really great experience. But I'll tell you all about the actual experiences tomorrow.